All right, so I have made my sets of 5. I have used 20 closed rings and 5 open rings to make 5 sets of 5 rings, okay? And then I have 5 open rings left over, and I'm going to use those for attaching it all. But we're going to do a little side quest here, and we're going to make a fish hook tool. There's a lot of ways that you can weave your chain together, and a lot of people have little tiny fingers, and they are able to use a ring like this and just scoop up what they need to do. I am not one of those people. So I started by mangling paper clips. Eventually, I have moved on from mangling paper clips to just buying and using wire. So this is just a piece of 18 gauge galvanized steel wire. It's like picture hanging wire. Really, any wire will do. You just don't want it so fat that you can't get it through the rings. You don't want it so skinny that it's wobbly. Okay, it needs to be able to hold its shape. So I like this. This is about 4 inches long. I usually just cut a bunch of pieces like this and have them available in my classroom, and my students can make their own tool. I do like to do one little thing on mine, which is I like to grab the rosary pliers, grab the end of the wire, and just make a little curly cue like that. Just gives me a little something to hold on to. Keeps me from being poked also. Okay, so now I've got this long piece of wire. We're going to leave about 1 inch of it to just be straight. Okay, this is our little handle. And then one of my favorite tools, of course, is the barrel of a Sharpie. I'm just going to take the wire and I'm just going to bend it around like that. Okay, so it's got that sort of fish hook shape, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to bend it out this way. Okay, and you can absolutely make these bigger, smaller. You figure out what works for you, but this is what works well for me. Okay, so make yourself a fish hook tool. You can absolutely do this by straightening out a paper clip, leave the big hoop of the trombone paper clip, and then straighten out the skinny side. It works the same. Like I said, that's how I started when I was learning how to do chainmail on my own, which is also when I learned that my fingertips are too fat for scooping up tiny rings. So here's my fish hook tool. Here are my pieces. So fish hook tool done. Now let's put it all together. Okay. So you're going to start by getting 2 of your sets of 5. I'm going to turn them sideways like this. That's just easier for me to see when I'm working. And you want to pay attention to the way that your rings are oriented. Now, a ring that has been closed and it's made out of round wire, right? There's no edges on it, but we're going to refer to the edges. So once you've made your sets of 5, every ring will have 2 edges. There is the bottom edge. That is going to be the edge that is laying on the table or your work surface. And then the top edge is the part that is laying on top of other rings, okay? And you can see that they're going to alternate. So on this outside one, they're angled like this. The top edge is pointing towards the left, but that center ring is moving in the opposite direction, and its top edge is moving towards the right. And you come down to the next row, and it reverses again. The top edge is pointing towards the left. Okay, so you're going to start by looking at which way your rings are going and making sure that both sets of 5 are oriented the same way. Okay, then use the end of your little fish hook, grab the rings, and just set it right over the top of the other rings. Okay, now in my classroom, we call this the eye. You have to make the eye. So think of it kind of like a Venn diagram, right? A Venn diagram is one circle and another circle, and then this area where those circles overlap makes this eye shape, okay? we call that the eye. So right here, I have the one on the right, and the one on the right is overlapping that end ring from the set on the left. And here, I'll do it again to show you. Okay, just like this. Let's see if we can go down a little bit closer and make it easier for you to see, maybe. There, how's that? Better? All right. So try not to be distracted by the shadows. So all of my rings are oriented the same direction, and you'll be able to tell if they're not, okay? So because if you go to put them together, you're going to see that the ends of the rings will want to butt up against each other. They're just going to crash into each other. They don't want to lay down nice, okay? So you make sure your sets are oriented. So I'm going to take this one, and it's always going to be the top edge goes over the bottom edge, just like that, and it makes the eye. So here is your little eyeball shape. Now, this is where descriptions get gruesome, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to poke the eyes, okay? And we're going to do it not with a sharp stick, but with a piece of wire. So I've rounded out my wire just a little bit more. You're going to go down through one eye. I like to hold my rings in place with my other hand, and you're going to scoop up and you're going to come up through the other eye, okay? So it's going to be down through this eye, up through this eye. Hold your rings in place when you do that. The reason I like to have this round fishhook shape is because as you go down, you can just slide it along your surface and then the end will pop up, okay? So let's go ahead and join these. I'm going to go down through the first eye, hold the rings in place, and then come up through the second eye, just like that. Pick it up and take a look at it, because this is what we want to see when we look down from the top. We know that we've gone through the right path if when we look at it, we have the two rings in the middle are parallel, okay, fingers like that, and the two rings on the outside make a V. If there is any other shape besides this, then you've not gone through the path the right way. Put it down and do it again, okay? But now that I have this gone through with the wire, all I have to do now is take my open ring, and I'm just going to slide it along that wire right through that same path, and I'm going to scoop up all four rings. You can just let your fish hook fall out, okay? Check, make sure you've got that same pattern in your rings, and then grab your pliers and close it. And this is the part where I really like using the bent nose pliers, and I like using them backwards, because now I can hold it with the wide part of the curve, but the pliers aren't blocking any of my view, okay? So now, pull it back up. There's the snick. Check it, looks good. And now throw it down. Now this is the part where people tend to get frustrated because it doesn't look like it wants to do the thing it's supposed to do. There's a little trick that we do. We take it and we kind of shake it up and we throw it down like dice. Almost every time it will orient itself and lay down correctly. Okay? Now you have a couple of different ways of working available to you. You've just put 2 sets of 5 together. You can continue to build that way. Take 2 more sets of 5 and put them together, and 2 more sets of 5 and put them together, and then begin putting your bigger pieces together. Some people find that advantageous. They get a little overwhelmed in handling the whole length of chain. I like to just keep going with my set of 5. So I keep my work oriented so that the chain that I am building is always on my left, okay, L, left, and the pieces that I'm adding are always on my right. This might be because I'm right-handed. So if your dominant hand is your left hand and that's not comfortable, try flipping it around, okay? It doesn't matter which way your chain is pointing. What matters is that you are comfortable using your tools and making the chain. Okay, so let's do it again. We're going to add another set of 5. I'm going to check my orientation. The easiest way I find is I look at my middle ring. The top edge of my middle ring is pointing off to my right. The top edge of the middle ring here pointing off to my right. So now I'm going to take my fish hook and I'm going to lay my outside rings over my outside rings and make my eyeballs. Take your fish hook, go down through one eyeball, slide it along your work surface, and come up through the other eyeball. Again, check the orientation of your rings. You want the 2 in the middle to be parallel. You want the 2 on the outside to be making that V. That looks correct. I'm going to take an open ring and I'm going to slide it just like this, okay? Back of the ring right against the wire. I'm going to slide it right along the wire and I'm going to scoop up all 4 rings. When I have all 4 rings, drop the hook, okay? The hook will either come out by itself or you can fish it out. Grab your open ring, grab your pliers. We always work with 1 pair of pliers in each hand. Close the ring. Listen for the snick. Nice and tight. Let's see what we've got. Okay, we're going to take it and we're just going to orient it. Now, a lot of times, especially as your chain gets longer, you're going to get it to lay down and you might find that like the center ring is pointing the wrong way. Usually, that's a really easy fix. All you have to do is grab that center ring and pull it back up over the top. So this is going to orient it incorrectly. Okay, so if your chain is laying like that, most people think, oh, well, I effed it up. Now I need to go and I have to take out that ring. Sometimes that's true, okay? If this is in the very center of your bracelet and you have a whole long length of chain here, you will have to do that. But if it's only 1 set of 5 away, here's how you fix it, okay? Here is our oddball set. It got joined with this ring, and this is the ring that is not playing well with others. We're going to push down on the chain, and we're going to take that middle ring from our set of 5 and pull it all the way over the top of the other rings. Once it comes down and it hits the work surface, then just grab those 2 center rings and pull them out. Okay, it's like a magic trick. There you go. Now it is laying down just fine. I'm going to do 1 more set for you, and then you are going to carry on. So here is my next set of 5. You can see that the top edge of my center ring is pointing left. The top edge of my center rings on my chain is pointing right. So I'm just going to grab this guy and flip him around. Top edge pointing right, top edge pointing right. Good to go. I'm going to grab my outside rings, stack it right over the other outside rings. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. Okay. And there is one eyeball. There is the other eyeball. And now you're going to stab down through one eyeball and come up through the other eyeball. You'll get to the point where you can see the path so easily that if the chain moves, it won't really matter. You'll still be able to get it through the right way. But anytime that it's not laying down right, just take the fish hook out, realign your rings, lay it out right, and do it over. Okay? Super simple. There is a learning curve to this. It is not the same for everybody. This is, well, it's part of my bizarre skill set. It's going to become part of your bizarre skill set. But the thing that's cool is that really everybody can do it. If you've got hands, you can do this, okay? Be patient. Be patient with the materials. Be patient with yourself. Don't rush it. Don't damage your tools. Don't damage your materials. Certainly don't waste them. Okay? We're just going to go step by step and repeat the same steps over and over again until our chain is the length that we want. Okay, so there you go. That is your intro to chainmail. That is the beginning of the 4-in-1. You want to make this at least 6 inches long. You're going to add about an additional inch of length to it in jump rings and lobster claw clasp at the end. So don't worry about making this to fit all the way around your wrist, okay? I mean, it does need to fit around your wrist, but don't worry about making it loose on your wrist, okay? We'll talk about measurements next time.